And joining us now for more is host of The Benny Show, Benny Johnson. Good to have you back on. Appreciate you being here. James Comey, so arrogant that even when he knows the DOJ is investigating him this spring, even when he knows he could get indicted, he posts that photo of the rock formation, 8647. Instead of Benny just drifting off into the sunset, he couldn't help himself, could he?
Well, yeah, it's pathological. What creepy 60-year-old man is wandering the beach, no doubt wearing his Borat Speedo, and thinking, how about I listen to Taylor Swift and put together a bunch of seashells just to make sure that I'm edgy on my TikTok account? I mean, this is not healthy behavior. He has, and I say that's Taylor Swift saying, like, not tongue-in-cheek. This is a man who has done long videos about how big of a Swiftie he is. James Comey's pathological. He's a really sick puppy. And he's somebody that really should not only be investigated, but should, quite frankly, be studied for how somebody who is such a pathological liar, such a creepy individual, was able to assume such a high level of our government. It really does question, like, from people like Martha Stewart, for instance, who he put away for doing the exact same thing. I just couldn't believe this, Rob, when I read this today. He put Martha Stewart in prison for the exact same thing that now he has been indicted for lying under oath.
Wow. Yeah.
And for telling these kind of demonstrable lies. And so, anyway, I just hope James Comey learns how to bake. I doubt that there's a show with Snoop Dogg in his future.
Yeah, she went to prison. The left doesn't want to talk about more indictments. I would like to discuss this. I think this week we could see two more, possibly Letitia James and John Bolton. But if I say names like James Clapper, Adam Schiff, Letitia James, John Brennan, perhaps Merrick Garland, who was not pardoned by Joe Biden on his way out the door, do you think they could be indicted as well, Benny?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially if you look at those who were committing real crimes. It's real crime to commit mortgage fraud. Again, it is wild the way that the boomerang works, Rob. Like, the way it works is those people who attacked Donald Trump for the things they accused Donald Trump of, they were the ones who were guilty. Mortgage fraud for Adam Schiff and Letitia James, James Clapper and John Brennan spied on the president, launched the Russiagate hoax. And, well, I just heard some breaking news that a secret grand jury has been impaneled in Florida, in Mar-a-Lago, in Palm Beach. I wonder what that's for by a newly appointed Trump district attorney. I wonder what that's for. Could it have something to do with the people on that list authorizing the deadly force raid on Mar-a-Lago to kick in the doors of President Trump while his wife and his teenage son were there? And oh, by the way, just really quickly, retribution. This isn't retribution. Retribution would look like 50 FBI agents in tactical gear kicking in James Comey's door at 3 a.m. and dragging him out in his underwear the way they did to Roger Stone. Right. This isn't retribution. They are using actually kid gloves in this, and thankfully they're getting the justice, hopefully, that they deserve.
And that's not being covered. James Comey, if he's found guilty, he could go to jail. But working in his favor, we just found out that he got a Biden-appointed judge in very blue Eastern Virginia. Is there any way that he gets a fair, honest trial here in a jurisdiction like that?
Well, the best that I can say is that someone who really doesn't like Donald Trump, somebody who has turned on Donald Trump and have been weaponized by the DOJ against Donald Trump, Michael Cohen, is saying James Comey's going to prison, and he's guilty. And he's looked at the merits of this case, and he's saying it on the favorite network of James Comey, MSNBC. You could hear the audible gasp at that clip this morning. And so I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are saying, listen, what has happened here is James Comey's allies have turned on him, that people have flipped. And it's a rat-eat-rat world, and there's no honor among thieves. And those who were closest to James Comey turned on him and said, yes, he authorized leaks. Is that McCabe? Is that Daniel Richmond, who's the Columbia lawyer that he was leaking to? Other people in the FBI? Now, listen, you work in federal government that long, you're going to have some enemies and some people that end up turning on you.
Good point.
And that's all you're going to need.
I want to play that Michael Cohen soundbite. Take a listen to this, Benny.
What you're saying right now is that the Department of Justice under Donald Trump has been weaponized or has not been weaponized?
I think it's been weaponized under more than just Donald Trump. I think it's been weaponized by government for I don't know, as long as it's been around.
Well, because I think your argument is it was weaponized then by Comey against Donald Trump. That's what you're arguing right now. And so you think that there will be evidence that will show that in court, and so thus validate Donald Trump's vendetta against James Comey.
At least I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, they weren't expecting that this morning over there on MS Now. Benny, I got a couple minutes and I got two more topics I want to cover with you. One, you've got millions of followers on social media. We're less than 3 weeks removed from the Charlie Kirk assassination. A woman in Maine who now goes by Ray, apparently she is transitioning from female to male. She put a red bumper sticker on her car that reads, "Make assassinations great again." She put it on her car. She owns a restaurant in a small town called Bailey Island, Maine, and her restaurant's called the Fishnet Cafe. And when she was asked by the Maine Wire, she said she does not regret putting that bumper sticker on her car. She said she doesn't regret it. I want to know how you reacted to that when you saw that today, but also, you know, that's a threat right there to put that on the back of your car. How is that? How is this woman not in handcuffs today?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great point. Inciting violence. And maybe I'll break a little news on your program here, which is that I got a call from a prominent Democrat this morning, and a household name Democrat, and they reached out and they said, you know what, my side has a problem. We can't keep calling everyone Hitler. We can't keep calling everyone fascist. We're going to radicalize, like the woman that's on your screen right now. We're going to take the people in our base who have the least to lose, and we're going to radicalize them, and they'll eventually grab a gun and do something horrible. And we've been seeing that again and again and again. And so it's time for us to lower the temperature. This Democrat was reaching out to try and do that. And so I think that people like this they're, first off, very sick puppies. This is incitement. I'll leave it to lawyers to figure out whether this rises to the level of incitement, but that is illegal. You cannot call for the murder of people. You can't do that. And this is what I told the Democrat that called me this morning. I said, when Joe Biden got a terminal diagnosis of stage 5 bone cancer, metastasized, nobody celebrated on the right. Nobody on Newsmax celebrated. Nobody was cheering for it. Now, I don't like Joe Biden. I think he nearly wrecked the country, but everyone just said a prayer for Joe Biden. Hope he lives out the days that God has for him, right? Pain-free. That's what the right said. It's the left who has moved into the tyrannical, bloodthirsty, dehumanizing segment of like really ripping this country apart. And we don't want to see that. You can't live in a country with people like that. You can't unite or make peace with evil, and you can't unite with people who want to kill you.
No, and I'll tell you what, the people, I mean, no one's going to go to the restaurant. The Fishnet Cafe, Bailey Island, Maine, and I'm saying it twice deliberately because I want people to be aware of this restaurant and not to go to this restaurant. Do not eat at her restaurant because this is not a good person. Somebody who would do something like that and then, try to serve somebody a lobster roll. Benny Johnson, great having you on tonight. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.